Hi everybody, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be talking about another main character inside the Battle of the Erathiel. If you don't remember what I'm talking about, or if this is the first video you see, I'm talking about this book. This is the first book I wrote, and it's called The Battle of the Erathiel, Across the Enchanted Sea. There is a second part that, as I have mentioned before, I still can't release it, but I can't wait to do it hopefully next year. The first chapter is actually called The Storm, and it tells you exactly what happens as they are crossing the Enchanted Sea. They're facing a storm, they still haven't found land, and it's a pretty intense first chapter. But I thought, why not start with a bang and with some action, introducing characters and being able to see some of the abilities. And in my opinion, one of the characters that shines the most in the first chapter would be Queen Nimtar, who is actually a sorceress, an elven sorceress. So as you know, in different kinds of stories, movies, TV shows, we find that a sorcerer or a sorceress have specific characteristics, and in the case of Queen Nimtar, I have given her a wooden staff. I was inspired by characters like Gandalf, like Saruman, and especially by Willow, which I loved watching as a kid and now as an adult. But right, so Queen Nimtar has her own staff, and it's a dark wooden staff. And at the very tip of it, though, there is no gemstone, there's no quartz, there's nothing there. It's actually empty. Whenever it is lit with her own flame, with her own fire, we could say, her magic, her power. Now, as you read the story, you're going to notice that the color of her flame is mainly a silvery white shade, very similar to the hair and the eyes of her husband. You're going to notice over time, and her husband is King Erathiel, if you don't know that. I already did a video a little bit about him without spoiling much. And also we're going to notice as you read that the flame actually will start changing color. And the reason why is I can't tell you. So at the start of chapter 1, you're going to see that she's not named actually until the very end of it. In chapter 1, we get to see a little bit more about what's going on with her daughter, Princess Erathiel, what's going on with Turion, what's going on with King Erathiel a little bit. But we see Queen Nimtar's power, her demonstration of power at the end of this chapter, where she does use her magic. She does use a lot the power of light. That seems to be the main element that she works with. She sometimes will use fire, but it's not her number one choice for reasons that I'm sure you will understand later on as you read, and probably a bit more as you read book 2, where I give you a lot more about her past. So Queen Nimtar is like a Pandora's box, we could say. She is also, she's full of mystery, and we see her as this very kind, warm character, very motherly, who is there to protect the Erathiel, to also connect with the magic in this new land in Dor Anon. And you're going to find out that Queen Nimtar doesn't use just her own magic, but she also uses whatever the earth lends her. So there's this particular quality to magic in my book. It's not something that just appears out of nowhere. Like certain characters, especially like Queen Nimtar, and soon you will see also other characters that have those abilities. Some of these characters have a stronger magical degree than others, mainly because of a genetic trait that you will also discover as you read. And so the rest of the magic, you can actually tap into it if, you know, the planet, we could say, allows you. If the magic that is living on that planet, on that land, allows you to tap into it, wonderful, awesome. You can do things with it. So technically, a person that does not really have any magic of their own could learn how to wield magic in my world. It is definitely possible. And of course, there are ways that you can kind of break into it more than tap into it and be offered the magic. There are ways that you can just bust through it and just absorb that magic for your own wish. But of course, that is when magic takes dark properties, because it is magic's own resistance against being used, and being used for things that they, I'm talking about magic as an entity, but that the magic does not want to be a part of, if that makes any sense to you. So understanding the concept of magic, I think, is really important in my world, so that you understand how Queen Nimtar uses it, how it flows through her. And just a bit of a spoiler here, she did not always know how to do this. She did not always know how to connect with nature and ask to borrow its magic. That was not always so. Her character is one of the most, I would say, one of the dearest and closest to my heart, because of the whole process that she goes through. And we're going to be seeing a lot of different moments where different characters will be having some kind of, you know, flashbacks, and you're going to get glimpses of the past, because I would say, unfortunately, the story is so long with the backstory that defines, you know, who Queen Nimtar is now, who these characters are now. They went through so many things, and I do want to write a book on it, a proper book on it later on. And on a more superficial note, of course, what does she look like? I recently uploaded a little video that will give you a kind of a glimpse of what she looks like. But as you read, you will also find that Queen Nimtar is kind of a bit more on the pale side. She just is. And she has very dark hair, very raven hair, and she has beautiful bright green eyes, and that I think I mentioned before, that whenever she uses her magic, her eyes glow a little bit, so that I thought that was pretty neat. And she's not very tall at all. She's petite, she's small. As a short person, I also wanted to include that in the books. And in my case, when you read about the elves in my book, please take the liberty to imagine them any color, any height, any width if you want. Really, it's any color of hair, any color of eyes. That's the way they all are. That's what you can expect. So thank you.